What's up, guys? Welcome back. Thank you for tuning back into the channel. It's been a while since I posted last. Apologize for that. Just a lot of stuff going on. Bought a new house to live in right here on the water in the Bay Area, California, near San Francisco. This house actually belonged to a former F1 driver, which is a pretty cool fact. And I could see my family and I living here forever. Everybody has their forever house. Anyways, that's another video for another time. All I need to do now is buy a boat, and I think this would be our forever house. So we can show you that in a new video. Maybe next year I'm gonna be buying a boat. And in the meantime, we did get 3 new cars. Got a new SUV, just a nice daily driver, and 2 new sports cars behind me. So the topic of today's video is that GT3s never lose money. But I lost $90,000. So how did that happen? Obviously, that's how I come to the conclusion that I flip apartment buildings, not cars. There's no way in heck I could flip cars and make money. Unless you want me to flip it from 200,000 down to 0. I could do that. But I could not flip a $200,000 car and somehow end up in a $300,000 car in 3 trades. I don't know how to do that. Okay, but I'm just a normal buyer. I'm going to share you my experience. I'm going to give you real numbers. I'm not going to be shy about giving you real numbers. Okay, so let's just jump into the numbers up front, and then I will try to justify to you, the audience, why it was okay for me to lose 90,000 or spend it on the 2.5-year ownership experience. So I drove a total of 4,500 miles for your reference. Purchase price on the car was $210,000. I added some mods like a Sharkworks exhaust. Go see Alex if you need one. They're great. Really brings the car alive. And did some PPF on the car. Added stripes. As you know, stripes add 50 horsepower. Jokes aside, also added a Porsche side script. Just has a couple stripes and I think 2 small lines, 1 big line, and the Porsche logo and words, and then continuing down the door, lower door. Looks pretty cool. And then a big wing, a big spoiler, really obnoxious. I loved it, whatever. And some canards, some front dive planes to make the car more racier looking. Did it help with the aero? I hope so. I don't know. I didn't ever put it in a wind tunnel. So mods are just something that they're fun. They're fun to do. I didn't expect to get the money back, but I still spent the money, if that makes sense. And then new tires. So the mods, total mods, 15 grand. Okay. Sorry, Sumo's down here making a bunch of noise. Say hello, Sumo. All right. Now, mods were 15K altogether. I don't have the exact number, but they cost about 15K. New tires I had to put on. You say, what happened? 4,500 miles? It's kind of quick to be putting new tires on. Yes, I understand. I had no traction. It was very dangerous to drive the car, so I had to put new tires in after 4,000 miles. I went ahead and did the corner balancing on the car, balanced 4 corners, did a little bit of camber out so the wheels are a little bit poking out. And I did that to make the car more of a canyon carver setup instead of fully neutral, if that makes sense. And also lowered it about 1/2 inch. It gave it just an amazing stance. I had no fear about lowering it because it has a front axle lift kit. If it didn't, I wouldn't touch it. Like these 2 cars don't have a lift kit, and there's no way I would want them lower because we are just on the edge of my driveway here. When we pull up, it's very steep incline. So I'll show you that in another video, how I got beyond those obstacles here. And then insurance. We have insurance for 2 years on the car. Roughly $2,000. It's just something that you can't get around. Oil change, we only had 1 service on the car. That was about $900. So total money spent on the owning the GT3 911.2 for 2.5 years, $232,900. And I decided to get rid of the car March 2020. right when we went into lockdown. I figured, I'm not driving the car. Let me just sell it while the price is still pretty good. So I sold the car with a consignment dealer here locally in the Bay Area. They're fantastic. It took them about 70 days to get the car sold. And the gentleman who bought it actually bought a 458 and bought my old car the same weekend. He lives in San Francisco, so I'm sure that was an exciting delivery weekend for him. Before I took it to the consignment dealer, that wasn't my first thought when I wanted to sell it. So I brought it into a local dealer to trade against maybe a new 992. And they offered me between 120 and 130K for the car, which I thought was really low. And I did get an offer from a Porsche dealer in the Midwest. This is a factory Porsche dealership for 150K trade-in. I thought that was great. That was really reasonable. And I tried to get the local dealers to match, and they just wouldn't. Local dealers in South Bay and Peninsula, they just wouldn't match it. So oddly enough, as well, I had an offer on the table to trade my GT3 to CNC Motors. As y'all know, there's a terrible alleged scandal going on over there. And I was looking to buy a 997.1 GT3 RS Frog in RS Green. At the time, prices were uncertain. Are they going to just fall to the bottom, or are we going to recover? And I was pretty bummed at the time we couldn't put that deal to bed. But looking back over a year, I'm pretty fortunate, because if I had gone through with that deal, maybe I would be one of those people looking for a vehicle title or still trying to recover some money, right? So at the end of the day, I spent $232,900 roughly, and I got $140,000 back for the car once it was sold. Okay, so obviously you got to pay the consignor their fee. So that's after paying their fee, I receive $140,000. So total money lost or spent, would it be worth it to you? Tell me in the comments below. Was $92,900. Now here's my conclusion on this whole experience. It was my first GT3. I never owned one before. I wanted a new one. I wanted a brand new one. I didn't want to buy a used one at the time for whatever reason. I had my reasons, right? Here's my conclusion. So my main reason for selling this GT3 was that it was PDK. I learned how to drive a manual transmission 2 years after buying this PDK car. If you're wondering, nobody in my family ever had a stick shift car growing up. Everyone drove a slush box. And yes, I broke my 2001 automatic transmission Honda Accord and hand-me-down 1983 300D Mercedes diesel, acting like they were drag racing gearboxes. Okay, in short, I wanted a manual transmission sports car and a different car altogether. I thought it would be silly to pay the delta of 40K at the time just to trade my PDK car for a GT3 Touring or a wing GT3 with manual transmission. It just didn't seem a good way to spend my money. Looking at the numbers, I know you're not gonna say I'm spending it good anyways. Might as well just do it, right? Okay, but in my head, I thought it'll be silly just to pay that 40K delta. Okay, it would have cost 20K to get into a winged car with a manual transmission, but now the delta on a Touring and a PDK car with a wing is 80 to 100,000, which seems crazy, right? I don't know why the cars are going up so much. Maybe because production figures finally came out. They're quite scarce. The Tourings are quite scarce when you think about it. So, do I regret it? Maybe. Do I regret buying the car? No, I don't. Do I regret where I went when I sold it with the money? Hindsight's 2020, and there's a lot of cars I could have chose. My wife has a different opinion. Don't ask her. But I also think the 997 GT3 RSs, which have been going up in price at a steady pace, I could have bought one of those. Maybe I should have. Gray black, or there was one that was Oslo blue that was really sweet. No air conditioning, no radio. I guess it doesn't really matter. You can retrofit the AC, and I don't think anybody listens to the radio when you're cruising along with the engine just blasting through the exhaust pipes. So at the time when I was buying my 2018 GT3, the prices on the 997 GT3, 997.2 GT3 RSs were far less than it cost me to get into the 2018 GT3. But for me, not knowing how to drive a stick, it seemed like a stretch for me to buy that car and learn how to drive stick on that car when I heard how heavy the clutches were, and it just didn't seem like something I could bite off, right? I didn't want to buy that car and regret that it's a stick, I couldn't handle it, and have to trade it back in. But you got to take a leap of faith eventually. So another point I want to make is if you have a chance to buy the new 992 GT3, do it. Get the Touring in a PTS color. Those are probably going to hold the best value. The new the previous 991 GT3 Tourings swung to the low 160,000 range, and now they're back up to above 200,000, which is great if you have one. Congrats. Otherwise, I say buy a 991 Speedster. Those should be firm on value for the next 6 years until the next one drops. I just don't see those selling for a premium anymore. They're right around sticker or maybe a little bit lower. The Heritage pack is definitely one you want to go for. A lot of them have striped deletes. If it was me buying one, I'd probably go for a GT Silver one with the light brown Heritage pack inside. It's just beautiful. 911Rs, if you can get your hand on one in a nice color combination, go for it for a decent price. I think go for it, because those are not going to go down anymore, in my opinion. I've been watching that market for a while. Otherwise, if you're not interested in those two cars, how would you buy a GT3 RS now and not lose money? Well, you can buy a 997 RS or a GT3 Touring 991.2. Anything that's a manual transmission, good color with the right options. Somebody like me has already eaten the biggest chunk of depreciation for you. And you might see another small wave of depreciation before it flattens out, eventually starts creeping upwards. One thing that I'm hearing is, if the rumors are true, that the 992 GT3 RS and GT4 RS will have a manual transmission option. That will certainly shake up the market some, kind of like how the 997 was the last manual GT3 until it wasn't, right? Until the 991 came back with a manual transmission. So if new RS manual transmission car production is high enough to overfeed the demand of the market, the 997 may soften on prices. I wouldn't say more than 10% of where they are now. Otherwise, they're just going to keep rising. They're just going to keep rising, and they're going to be out of reach. So if you have a chance, buy one. I don't think they're going to go down much. You can't go wrong, okay? So the next car I purchased after my GT3 was a 981 Boxer Spider. You can see that above. Beautiful car. I will post a story of why I purchased it before knowing how to drive a manual transmission in an upcoming video. Oh, sorry guys. The most recent car that I purchased was a Ferrari, as you can see behind me. The story behind that car has lots of drama. It's been going on since Christmas, and it's already almost May. A lot of drama on that car. I just got it back in working order on Friday. So that's a lot of time, a lot of drama, and I have a lot to say on that as well. So be sure to like, share, and comment on the videos. I do appreciate all your comments. Tell me how stupid my shirt looks. It's a little bit wrinkled today. I get it. Or how I don't say Porsche correctly. Okay. I will read all your comments and reply to all of them. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Catch you on the next video.